Hello everyone and happy time zones! It's your bird, Haven the Raven, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2 Ladle only. Fen, can you please move? This is uncomfortable. We're gonna be finishing up what I have and can do of all these. Keep. Thank you, Fen. And then we're heading into the Dragonary. I only have 2 mimics. And that big guy, I suppose. Yeah. Oh dear. Don't mind my dog, he's just chewing on a bottle. He's allowed to have those. Because he doesn't eat them. That said, we do take him away when they start to get real, or when he starts to chew them down really small because he might accidentally inhale a piece. There we go. How did that hit? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi. Okay, so... Mimic, hello. And apparently... Oh dear. Oh dear. Nope, we don't do that here. I did apparently miss a couple shards. I don't know where the second one is, but there's apparently one behind a fragrant branch. Do I want to say door? That, I know for a fact I didn't get because I did not open up any fragrant branches near the wharf. We're just heading over here so that I can actually get to the mimic without dealing with everything else in that room. Suck Farmer, thank you for the redeem. I did notice that. How are you doing? I apologize. My dog distracted me. I want to go up this way. How close am I to finishing this game? I'm glad to hear you're good. Technically speaking, I could rush endgame today. However... I don't care about my pronouns today. I can't. I tried to cheese! Oh, fuck. But apparently this mimic doesn't like Parmesan. I hope that suffices for a joke. I could technically rush endgame today. However, I should really come from the other side, huh? Or wait. I might actually be able to run past everything to the next bonfire. Keep the mimic trapped there. I do want to at least attempt the DLCs. I have the boss of the Sunken City unlocked. I can go through the entirety of Broom Tower. And I can also at least start Aleum Lois. I also want to tackle a boss called Dark Lurker. And Dark Lurker is going to be a little annoying to unlock. Oh dear. This game is a little weird because, or well, it has an interesting interaction with its DLCs. If you complete, and only if you complete every DLC can you get one of the endings. My goal for my intention for every Dark Souls 2 run that I'm going to do is to try and get the DLC specific ending. Because that's proof that the vast majority of the content in this game can be beaten with a gimmick build. However, I will do the default ending if I wind up in a position where I'm pressed for time for some reason. Really fed up with a run. Or just really, really want to move on to another run. I'm not really in terribly much of a hurry to move on to my next run, because my next Monday, Tuesday run after Dark Souls 2 is going to be an Elden Ring run. And Elden Ring is... you always plan for Elden Ring to take a while. Like, who are we kidding? Unless you're doing a speedrun, you plan for Elden Ring to take a while. Oh, no. We are doing a gimmick. Specifically, the gimmick is going to be Catch Flame only. Catch Flame is one of Elden Ring's starting spells. With the exception of Consort, I have beaten Elden Ring, like every Remembrance boss in Elden Ring, aside from Consort, I have beaten with a different starting spell, the Magic Glint Blade. Like, I didn't go into all of the side dungeons, but I full cleared up until Promised Consort the game with the spell Magic Glint Blade. I'm just unlocking Dragon Shrine real quick, and then I'll go get that Estus shard I missed. So now I'm curious to see which starting spells in the series can carry you all the way through the games. And of course, because it's been a while since I've done an Elden Ring challenge run, an Elden Ring run, period. Okay, Aldia, I just need to spam click through your dialogue. Okay, and because it's been a while since I've done an Elden Ring run, I'm thinking that I might as well do Elden Ring. I should probably actually do another run of Enotria sometime soon, though. Because I just realized it's been almost, if not an entire year, since I played Enotria, the last song, and I've only played it once. And I did like Enotria. I might do one of these days just a chill Enotria run. Well, as chill as New Game Plus can get. Because I have legitimately only played Enotria once, so I don't remember much about it. Which is my bad. I have like 4 different challenge runs for that game that I want to do. Honestly, for the foreseeable future, Monday and Tuesday are going to be strictly challenge runs. I'm not going to play around with, well, or replays. I guess New Game Plus can technically count as a challenge run too, depending. But, like, I do like my chill runs and my first playthroughs, but I have said this before. Even when I first started streaming, what I really wanted to get into was challenge runs. Which includes gimmicks. So with the exception of maybe Enotria New Game Plus, Monday and Tuesday is going to be specifically for challenge runs. Does that make sense? But man, I have so many challenge runs lined up. Obviously there's all the starting spells in every single game. I might make an exception at some point in Demon Souls. Not gonna lie. One of the Demon Souls... Because I know that it's actually... actually, no, because I know straight up Flame Lurker is immune to fire. So there's only one that might actually be able to carry you in Demon Souls. Demon Souls has 2 starting spells. One of them is Flame Toss, and the other is Soul Arrow. Oh, Moongazer! Hello! How you doing? Oh dear. I know from watching the backlogs that Flame Lurker is just straight up immune to fire. And while... technically, I could make an exception clause there. You have Oh no! I hope that goes away soon. And I know I could make an exception clause for Flame Lurker specifically, but why bother when I already know that that's legitimately unbeatable with Flame Toss? I will try with Soul Arrow, though, because while Latria is going to be a pain in the ass, it does still look like it's possible, because I don't think there's anything actually immune to magic damage in that game. Yeah, definitely let your body heal itself. Aside from cold medicines and the like, do you have, like, chamomile tea or throat coat? Which I know throat coat does not sound pleasant. And it really isn't a very pleasant tea to taste, but it does help with the throat. Chamomile, lavender is good for... But you know what? Ice cream does help with the throat. Yeah, definitely. But we have a lavender chamomile blend here. We also, I think, have lemon echinacea in the cupboard. Both of those are pretty good for when you're sick. Throat coat is specifically for when your throat is, or has gone 6 or 7 rounds with a chainsaw.
To see luck, however.
I did not. That was an accident. No. Suck farmer, no. Let's go back to Dragonlight Castle. Like, I'm not even joking. That was a I just picked random numbers out of my brain. Those just happens to be the numbers I picked. And you're not even commenting on the chainsaw thing. Anyway. Motherfucker. Die! There we go. I'm never living this one down, am I? Hey, do you have life gems? Or did I buy you out? You still have some life gems. But, so of course I have the starting spells only, which is Soul Arrow for Demon Souls, Soul Arrow for this game as well, Soul Arrow, and, Fireball, I think it was, in Dark Souls 1. Though I will admit I'm going to have to do some skips in order to make Fireball in Dark Souls 1 possible. At the very least, I'm going to need to accomplish a Quelaag skip. I'm just going to put that out there right now because Quelaag is immune to fire, but I do know that she is skippable. If you're willing to do some glitches. So that's already 3. I've got the Catch Flame only, which is going to be my next one. Right. Forgot about how this place works. I also, in Elden Ring, have... Glintstone Shard, I think it was, and Glintstone Arc only, both of which will require starting Astrologer. Ow. So what is that? Wait, shoot, how many was that? Catch Flame only, Soul Arrow only times 2. Fireball only... Okay, so that's 7. And then... I also have 2 more starting spells for Dark Souls 3, I think. Because again, we have Soul Arrow and Fireball. So that's like... that's 9 starting spells, I think. Are you fucking kidding me? So that right there is 9 challenge runs. As I said, I have 4 ideas for challenge runs in Enotria. Please tell me that my equipment is fully... Okay. First of all, of course, we have a Dory Burst only. Then, no... I forget what they're called, but they're the magic system in Enotria. Oh, just melee. Use what you get. Which essentially means I'm only allowed to use equipment from a specific area. You... And something similar to what I did with NPC Roulette. But with that game's mask system. Damn it! Damn it, you! Are you fucking kidding me? Let me get out of here! And literally everything is broken. Great. I hate... Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to Majula. I think I would have preferred it if they were the, exploding type. So the 4 with Enotria, that brings me up to 13. And then I'm going to be going, like, more Mimic runs, obviously. So I just have so many challenge run ideas. It's kind of insane now that I think about it. You know what? Since that's only 1,700 souls. Let's go back up here. I might have to go... Okay. I should have enough to repair my stuff. Whee! That is... What? Okay. We're just gonna drop here. I don't care. I'd have to go back to the bonfire anyway. I hit the wrong button to get off of the zip line. What other challenge runs do I have off the top of my head? Oh, plunge attacks only in Darksiders 3. Nightmare mode on Darksiders 2. I want to actually finish that. Ah, damn it. Too late. I should really come up with something for Darksiders 1. Probably no wrath or no consumables. Should you try Darksiders? What exactly do you value in a game? I absolutely adore the Darksiders series and will recommend it to most people, but whether you should try it really does depend on story and gameplay. Then yes. However, I am going to warn you. Yep. Well, that happened. That every game in the Darksiders series is a different genre. At least as far as gameplay goes. You played the first one, yep, okay. So you already know about that. Darksiders 2 is more of what you would expect from an RPG. I went the wrong way, because of course I did. It's kind of empty. Well, yeah, that makes sense when you take into consideration the fact that the world has quite literally ended. And war is going through a dead planet. There we go. Yeah, they didn't change anything for the War Mastered version. I know because I have played both the original PS3 and the War Mastered versions. Honestly, my biggest gripe with that game is the save system. I can never figure out how it actually works. Darksiders 2 is more of what you would expect from a traditional RPG, and Darksiders 3 is a Souls-like. That is not what I wanted to... You played the original more like God of War. Does that mean it reminded you more of God of War, or did you play it like it was God of War? Because those are two very different things. Sorry for how abrupt this is, but I am gonna put you in an ad because I very suddenly need the bathroom. One moment. I'm sorry, what? Alright, so you said that the original Darksiders feels like God of War with downgraded gore elements. I have yet to play a God of War game. I'm just heading to get a few souls real quick because I don't want to pop another one. I can say, however, that I'm not really all that surprised that it feels like that. I've seen Darksiders 1 also compared to the dungeon crawler Legend of Zelda's. Oh dear. Just with the way it's played and all. That's not quite enough. You. That's enough. But again, Darksiders don't know anything about the lore. Okay, the lore is half the enjoyment of that game, honestly. Like, the gameplay is fun and all, but the lore of Darksiders is actually really incredible. However, the lore is something that, if you want to fully understand, you will need to play all 3 games, plus possibly Genesis. I don't know if Genesis is canon or not. Fuck, I'm wrong. That's not entirely. But, so you need to play all the games. You need to hunt down the book. And you need to possibly hunt down the comics as well. There's a lot of lore that goes into Darksiders. You'll watch a retrospective, that's fair. That is fair. It's not. You're still probably not going to entirely get it. But that will definitely help. I think there's... I know for a fact I still have a PDF of it on my phone, but there is a PDF version of the book. I don't know if the free one is still floating around or not. And the comics, you can also read free. I genuinely don't... The only reason I'm saying that, I genuinely don't know if you even can buy them, or if you just have to go online and find them free. You have a Witcher PDF? Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, for anybody who's actually looking into getting into the Darksiders series, just from scratch, start from either the first or the third game. The second one is probably, well, it'll still make sense. I actually beat the second one before I beat the first one. But there is a huge main game. There is a huge spoiler for the first game's final boss hidden in a random side quest in the second game. So if you're not careful, you will just spoil the final boss of the first game through a side quest in the second. Oh, for crying out loud. Generally without warning. Damn it. Come on, come on, let me run, let me run, let me run away. Damn it. Fuck, okay. Yeah, no spoilers, definitely no spoilers. Which is why I, at the very least, play the first game before you play the second. Because otherwise, you are just going to, wind up spoiled on stuff. Fuck! I genuinely hate those things. We're gonna do this, because I don't want to have to fix everything. What do you mean by original or remastered? Because I did say that they really didn't change anything from between the two. Like, OG Darksiders 1 is essentially the same as remastered Darksiders 1. I guess by this point they're expecting you to have the aged feather. Yeah, none of that, none of that. At least with Darksiders 2, they bundled in the DLCs. But Darksiders 1, they just left as is. Which I actually am disappointed with, because I wish they'd overhauled the save system. The save system needed a rework, and it didn't get one. Like I said, my only actual complaint about the first game is the damn save system. So if you're going to get a, oh dear, second version of any of them, and you don't have the Darksiders 2 DLCs, I would get that. I would get the definitive edition of Darksiders 2, because that has the Darksiders 2 DLCs included. For play order, you can play the third one at literally any point. I'm not going to say that it has no spoilers at all, because that's not true. The games are so closely linked that no matter what one you play, you're going to spoil something for the others. However, you can play 1 or 3 first, and it won't really matter, but you should definitely play 1 before 2. Because 1 and 3 have one of the same revelations. Well, one of the same revelations. 3 just expands a little on the concepts that 1 initiates. Yeah, the same timeline. Well, sort of. The actual timeline of the mainline Darksiders games is the prologue of the first game, then the entirety of Darksiders 3, then Darksiders 2, and then we get the rest of the first game. So it's the prologue of the first game, then the entire other 2 games. Yeah, there's a 4th game in development. Yeah, I'm gonna rest. I actually don't know who the 4th game is going to follow. I'm honestly thinking that because of some of the things they've set up in the 3rd one, we're either going to be playing as Strife, or we're going to be swapping between horsemen like in Genesis. Like, it is either going to be a Strife solo adventure, or it's going to be all of the horsemen. One of the 2. It would not make sense any other way. Yeah, the 3rd one is good. It gets a bit of a bad reputation because people were comparing it to the 2nd one, which is the favorite of the fandom. Part of that being that it's a power fantasy. No matter what difficulty you're playing on, Death is an absolute beast, and we never actually get to see what his full power looks like. We're just gonna drink. Alright, so I already came through here. I think I might have cleared out the area. Oh dear. And this is why I unequipped my stuff. Generally speaking, clearing out the area, fighting everything in the area is not worth it in melee. But yeah, the 1st and 3rd game have some of the same plot points due to dealing with some of the same NPCs. So, no matter which one you play first between the 2 of those, you're going to find out some things and be surprised by others, which I do think is actually pretty neat. The fact that even when you know some of the plot points, you're still going to be blindsided by others. That's nice. That shows that people actually cared about the story. Alright, Chloranthe and Ring of Blades. The 2nd one is honestly the weird one. For a few reasons. It is the favorite. But it's also the only one that doesn't actually take place on Earth. They used the 2nd one for a lot of world building. And that's part of why one of the major plot points of the 1st game was spoiled in a side quest in the 2nd. Yeah, the third game is definitely underrated. $300, I can just go kill 2 basilisks for that. That's not to say that it doesn't have its downfalls. No such thing as a perfect game, and 3 does have more glitches than 1 did. It also has more glitches than 2, although the audio in the second game can actually get very choppy if there's too many enemies in the same room. Which is part of why I've been putting off going back to it. Or rather, if there's too many enemies dying at the same time, which that's happened a lot. It is very easy to kill so many things in the second game that you break the audio. Or at least with the remastered version. I unfortunately can't go back and play our original copy of Darksiders 2 because that was on the Wii U and the Wii U died. Like, the Wii U died a horrible, horrible death. Alright, so it's Dex next. I'm assuming that was a very glitchy mess from the way you're phrasing it. I'm not really big into Assassin's Creed. You know what? I've leveled up a decent amount. Let's go to this place. Just to check. Well, Darksiders 3 lets the main character move faster than the game itself can load areas. Yeah, Darksiders 3 will occasionally freeze on you just because Fury moves faster than the areas will load. And there will be a loading zone somewhere, but... Or, well, not a loading zone. There will be a loading, shoot, not zone. What was it? Loading symbol somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to Dark Lurker. Because of this guy. I'm going to need so much more damage just to properly deal with that thing. I need to be doing at least 200 or 300 points of damage. Or, well, not 200 or 300, but I definitely need that to go up a bit. I have also gotten Fury stuck in a trash can before in the third game. So you do have to be careful about that. It is, however, a good game. Oh dear. With some of the best character development I've seen in gaming, period. At least as far as the main character goes. Usually when you have an action game with a character like that, you don't really see too much in the way of personal growth. Yeah, game start Fury and game end Fury are entirely different people. You, what are you? I will take the Ascetics. Dark Lurker might wind up being either one of those things I come back to later, or something I just skip for the sake of this run. Not even because of the boss itself, but because of that damn tank. Oh dear. What? Okay, I should have been out of range. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. Have an excellent day, Moongazer. Or, well, night for you, I suppose. Okay. So I need to take out these knights. Otherwise, I'm going to wind up ganked by the entire shrine. There we go. Because these guys will not attack unless you decide you're a coward. Damn it! Okay, this guy's going to be a problem because for some reason I am choking at the dodge. But, the weakness of the ladles is that they don't do too well against, well, anything that would really be better off at range. Oh no. There we go. Life gem. And then these. What? I'm hitting dodge. I'm hitting dodge. What the fuck? I think my damage might be under-leveled for this area. Actually, I think my damage might be just under-leveled in general. Because normally by this point I'm doing like at least 300. What do you mean that hit? What? Why did you run? I was clearly... I was hitting dodge and my... Why is my character deciding not to do this? The problem is I really don't want to buff the fucker in the, a Chasm of Abyss. Or whatever it's called. So I can't farm the Rotten. Which means I am going to need... to grind, if I'm going to grind a boss at all, Giant Lord. Giant Lord can only be accessed after getting something from this area. The Ashen Mist Heart. Come on. Fuck. Why is it that this guy can just prevent my rolls and why is he so fast? I'm very tempted to just run through, spam click the dialogue, even though I know that that's just going to get me jumped. I'm gonna be coming back for Ancient Dragon, of course. But... more than that... I actually need the Ashen Mist Heart. What? Oh, Negan, hello, how you doing? This one fucking night is really annoying me. I'm a little concerned about what happens if I manage to force it to despawn. Or, well, this one, because that's a very possibility. Wait, what? I will read that in a second, Negan. Oh no. You're just telling... Okay, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I apologize. Alright, get over here, you bastard. Okay, okay. Why do you have no... Ah, damn it. You gonna follow me down here, or are you going back up the stairs? It's cowardly, but I just need to get past you. Okay, I don't put much stock in the word celebrity, truth be told. Because nowadays... Oh dear. It really does seem like celebrity is just a term for somebody who was born rich and flaunts it. Normal people are generally better. And now we leave. Because you will not follow me all the way down the stairs. But, seriously, how you doing, Negan? What is that combo? Screw you! You flatter me. What games? Pretty sure there's no mimics in Dragon Shrine. I'm almost willing to bet that the people of I almost just said Dragon Slime. People of Dragon Shrine exported them all to Aldi's Keep. Resident Evil 2 remake, The Ghost of Yotei, and so on and so. Fair enough, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I'm assuming that since you said you're chilling to them that you enjoy them? Oh no. What do you mean that hit me? Screw you. Yeah, open worlds definitely bloat the runtime of a game. Okay. I believe there's only one of you up here. That aggros? Yeah, it's you. Let's not fight on the damn staircase. Oh no. What do you mean I do 57 points of damage? Oh no, no, no. I legitimately might just run past this guy. Truth be told. Like, the rest of it I can deal with, but 57 points of damage. No, I have weapons equipped. Do you not see the ladles? That said... Oh dear. No weapons might legitimately be easier in some cases. Ah, crap. But you still haven't? Why? Uh-oh. Nope, nope, nope. I cannot afford to lose the souls up there. You keep starting games? Fair enough, fair enough. Uh-oh. Damn it, why do you do this? I'm definitely going to be coming back for the Ancient Dragon. That's not something... I can't just push Dragon Shrine. Uh-oh. Tried to take the sword, couldn't get it. Ah, yeah, plan of self, got it. After the whole... or after Act 1 is done in that game, you get a brief interlude where you play as most of your companions. At least in the deluxe edition, this wasn't in the original. It's Sylve, then, yeah, Rab and Jade. Well, it's Sylve, Rab and Jade, and Eric. And I might... And they do a good point of, uh-oh. Uh-oh, shit. I need to go back down the stairs to heal. I don't know. But I do remember that oh dear. Or with 11, when they added the whole you play as different characters segment, the only one whose story that didn't actually add to was Rab. Uh-oh. You won't follow me all the way to the back of the arena, I don't think. Or maybe you will? Okay. I did not know that. They shouldn't have let us play, or they shouldn't have let us do the Rab segment, honestly. The Rab segment did kind of ruin his story in Act 2. However, with the other 3, it added to it. Because it showed how Sylve got his little bands together, and particularly in the cases of Jade and Eric, it actually really, because I had absolutely no idea how either of those things actually happened to them. Those Jade and Eric in Act 2 wind up in some truly baffling situations. Oh, right, okay. Where I need... So it's adaptability, then intelligence. And they did a good job of explaining that, honestly. Because yeah, it kept going on and on. Yeah, it does that. Although part of the reason it felt like it dragged on so long is probably due to how much leveling you were doing. You were, what, level 60 at the end of Act 1? Act 1... The end of Act 1 and the beginning of Act 2 in Dragon Quest XI are leveled for around the 30s range. You're around 50, yeah. Yeah, you leveled up so much, and the leveling gets harder and harder as you go. So that is probably part of why it felt like it was going on and on for you. I typically do level 30 for the end of Act 1. Level 60-ish. Sometimes Eric levels way too fucking fast. For Act 2, or for the end of Act 2, and then only in Act 3 do I strive for the level cap, because the level cap is actually needed in Act 3. You want to consider... Fair enough, fair enough. No, I was just speculating on why it might have felt like Dragon Quest XI was taking you so long. Because that game is a pretty long one, sure. However, not terribly. Well, damn.
Okay.
Alright, so Forest of Fallen Giants. I think I reached them all from Cardinal Tower. Oh shoot. This might have been a mistake. I might have fucked up already. Oh well. And honestly, the segments are really short. I think the shortest are actually Rab and Jade. Or actually, I think the shortest is technically Eric's segment. Well, Eric's or maybe Jade's. However, they... how do I put this? Eric's can actually take you quite a bit of time if you're not careful. What do you mean I've been invaded by a Forlorn? And Jade's can also actually take you quite a... Well, actually, Jade's won't take you very long, actually, no matter what you're doing. There's an actual risk of dying in Eric's, and in Sylve's. But I honestly have no idea how you'd even manage to die in Rab's. And it is outright impossible to die in Jade's. So, in practice, Sylve's is technically the longest. Though it is possible for Eric's to last a while too. If you're just bad at the game. Though I will say that if you die during Eric's segment, you don't know how to play him. That, or you're doing a Draconian quest. You either don't know how to play him, or you're doing a Draconian quest. You were enjoying the story? Yeah, that's fair. I was honestly taking the story into account with the time as well. I have to say that Octagonia tends to be the weakest points of the story as far as 11 goes. Or Dragon Quest XI goes. Well, oh dear. I guess there's a couple other weird spots, but the first time you visit Octagonia really is where the story starts to go downhill. The second visit to Octagonia is actually not as bad. The villain of that mini-arc is actually... is a very disgusting individual. Like, it's such a slime ball, you want him dead. But it's still one of the weaker parts of Act 2. Actually, the weaker parts of the story are any time the game decides that it's just going to... Oh, hi. I don't know how you get to you. Like... What time? How many RPG games? I tend to gravitate towards Souls-likes. But that's mostly for gameplay. If I want to enjoy the story, then I'm going to pick one that's a little more story-focused. However, there's also a limit. I will probably never go back and finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That game is more movie than game, and if I want to play a game, I want to actually play the game. So it really just depends on my mood, honestly. I've started The Witcher 3. Oh, you fuckers. I forgot about that. Be wary of trap. Yeah, they just... That's evil. I forgot about that. That's evil. Oh, Ashen misfades. Fair enough, fair enough. I was just running around anyway. Oh, hi. What are you? Enjoying Lake. I did not know about that. Sure. I can try. Do you mean promised consort or normal? Because those are two very different fights, and again, I can try. DLC, okay. Why did I go down this way? That was one of the most brain-dead things I could have done. Why did I do that? Yeah, I can try to help. No guarantees, though. I've yet to actually beat Consort on my own. Part of that is I've only done one casual playthrough. Okay. I just need the giant soul, really. They're not going to put a mimic so close to an NPC. FromSoft doesn't try to screw us like that. I get something over here? Yes, there is. Fire seed, nice. Actually, back to what I was saying earlier, because I kind of interrupted myself. The weakest parts of the story in Dragon Quest XI are when they just completely disregard one of the characters. This is most noticeable, honestly, with Eric. He has a very useful skill set. And is a very competent character, and yet a lot of cases he just gets, for lack of a better term, pushed out of the story. Or they sacrifice something, or they sacrifice his characterization in order to make someone else look good. And then retcon it in a fucking loading screen. Which is a big part of the reason why I say Octagonia is a weak point. I don't know if I actually might be able to get over there. Wait, there's no point. Because there's no treasure. Sylve also gets shoved out of the story quite a bit. You haven't found all the DLC bosses yet. Okay. For Consort. You don't technically need them. I should really go back and collect, all the shards on my casual file, because I don't have them all. But they aren't technically necessary, I guess. Petrified something, cool. Ah, boy. Well, I am most likely dead. Unless I can just keep dodging. Okay, cool. But yeah, I can probably do a couple Elden Ring streams in between everything. I think that's all the treasure in this area, so let's just go. Rest. I have 3 giant souls. I need 2 more if I want to be able to do Vendrick. One of those is Ancient Dragon, which is concerning. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I just need you dead. You over here. Okay, did not realize that this was this thing. Okay, we're gonna go back through here. Up here. Perhaps I should have waited. King ring, there we go. There we go. Samurai movies, okay. I just need to get past you. I don't need to actually fight you. There we go. A lot of ghost games, nice. We're gonna put my normal ring back on. You've been playing a lot of ghost games. Do you mean like horror games, or go like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote? Or Yoti, or whichever one it is. Okay. I've now officially reached a decent farming spot. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, I have a time limit to beat this boss, so let's see if I can meet it. Ah, damn it. What do you mean? I did no damage there? Oh boy. Ow. Oh boy. Hang on, I will read that in a second, Negan. I'm not even joking when I say that this boss is one of the... There was one of the tougher ones early on. Oh dear. Oh dear. Dude was on his last ankles. Giant's kinship and Giant Lord soul. What? Random people have been making fun of the way you walk. Why? Why? That makes no sense. Is there anything over here? No. Okay, is there anything else along this path? Because I have some time before everything. Ah. Well, if you can't do something, you can't do something. People shouldn't really be making fun of you for that. Ashen mist is thinned, okay. Are you gonna fade now? Please? I've cleared out this entire area. I don't want to use my feather. Actually, let's just use the feather. Back to Majula. Okay, I could technically tackle Throne Watcher and Throne Defender now. But that's a bad idea. Now that I've done this, I have no... if I do that, I trigger endgame. Or, well, at the very least, I,
Until
wind up with Nishandra on my tail. Okay. I have a couple options here. I could try to push Dark Lurker. I could... Actually, let's go tempt Alana. Just because I've already unlocked her. Just to see what we're dealing with in terms of numbers here. Bosses with high defensive stats are much less terrifying to me than normal enemies with high defensive stats. Okay. Okay, so I'm actually doing a decent amount of damage to her. She's just... got a lot of health. Uh-oh. Why immediately? Ah, boy. I want to know what your connection to him is, honestly. Why do you poison now? I hate this boss because it's a gank. Like, no matter what you do, unless you can manage... Uh-oh. Damn it! Alana! Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. What? Oh boy. This is one of those situations where Life Gem is far less forgiving than Estus. Uh-oh. Come on, I need you to stay away. Are you joking? There we go. Ah, come on. Fuck it. Damn it! I hate Alana. I actually hate her. This is technically doable, but as soon as she summons Velstat, I'm fucked. I can give it like 2 more attempts and then I'm going somewhere else. Oh, Caladmir! Hello! How are you today? I'm doing okay. I'm at a point where no matter what I do, I might be running up against a brick wall, but... I can't. This is a gimmick run. This is actually with the ladle. Believe me, the ladles are there. They just don't look... That helps a lot, actually. Uh-oh. Nope. We don't do that here. Ah, fuck. There's not much I can do about this. Okay. Where are you? Uh-oh. Damn it, why can you not hit your... This is the worst mainline boss in the game, just straight up. Because she can summon another fucking boss. This might legitimately come down to RNG or beating my head against a wall for several days straight, and I refuse to do it. I refuse to do that second one, honestly. I actually did try keeping the skeletons alive in either Covenant of Champions or one of my casual playthroughs. This bitch can summon multiple things at the same time. Yeah, I hate Alana. I actually hate her. She's part of the reason why I said if it's not mandatory for actually beating the game, it's not mandatory for my run. Oh no. Because sometimes I just do not have the mental fortitude to deal with her bullshit. Damn it. In case it isn't obvious, I'm trying to rush Fume Knight. Because I'm thinking that if I want to have a shot at actually beating all of the DLCs, I might need to go out of my way and farm. However, I don't want to do that on stream. Well, I actually really like this game, and generally speaking, I'm fine putting up with its nonsense. Again, however, that is generally speaking. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Yep, whatever. Bonfire acquired. And then we just keep going. Broom Tower is my favorite of the DLCs. I actually really like Broom Tower. With, of course, the exception of some of the runbacks. The bosses in Broom Tower are really cool. I don't have patience for some of the runbacks most of the time. Yep. I'm gonna have to juke that guy. Come on, come on. Damn it. That door is going to be a problem, and I might actually need to use an alluring skull. There's one room I know I can completely trivialize with alluring skulls, but... that's later. But I do actually really like Broom Tower. The Sir Alone runback and the... Blue Smelter Demon runback are a little much, but I can still deal with them. Nobody. Unfortunate. It's not all bosses, is the sad part. Oh no. Damn it. Dark Souls 2 actually only has a couple really bad runbacks. The base game, the only two I can think of are regular Smelter Demon and what was its name? Executioner's Chariot. Those are the only two bad runbacks in the OG, or in the base game. It's once you start getting into the DLCs where you see the enemy bloat. Okay. And I hate the fact that alluring skulls are inconsistent. I don't even care if I die, I just need to get that door open. Damn it! Like, I get that door open and and the next bonfire is essentially free. The problem is actually getting the door open. I don't want to deal with the lady there. I'm trying to save all of my smelter wedges so I don't have to go looking for more. Damn it. Okay. There we go. Damn you! Why do you have such absurd range? Come on, come on, come on. Why? I've never had this much trouble with this room. There are iframes, and I have abused them. The problem I'm running into here... Actually, how many smelter wedges do I have? Because I need 4 later. 6. The problem might actually be Nadalia. Damn it! Normally I can either rush Nadalia or I can rush the door. I don't know what's going on here. It does, it does. But normally I can do it. That's the part that's pissing me off. I think Nadalia might give... Are you joking? There we go. These enemies have movement buff. And I was correct. As soon as I got Nadalia, that wasn't a problem. Okay, so Nadalia gives a movement buff. That's good to know. Or that Nadalia gives a movement buff. Just so I don't forget to grab it later, I'll go get the soul fragment. But after that, the next bonfire is pretty much free. As long as I don't stop for any of the treasure along the way, the next bonfire is free. Oh dear. Okay, maybe I should equip the cat ring. I corrected myself from falling off of the ledge there, and that's what got me killed. So, what we're gonna do, since I'm not actually running any, or fighting anything, yeah, yay for the door. That is the wrong direction. But the next bonfire is pretty much free, I just have to actually run there. The only possible snag in running through here is honestly if you get body blocked. Which is possible. Like I said, free bonfire. Okay. Now we have a slight problem. And that's this room. This room, I need to get over here. If I can get over here, I'm good, but it's actually getting over there that's the problem. Oh, yeah, I have a check-in redeem for literally 1 point. How did you not... Come on, back up. Okay, fine, we're gonna do this then. Or not. Oh dear. Okay. Oh dear. Oh no. No, fuck. What? Ah, damn it. But some people want to lurk and want to support, but don't actually want to talk. So the redeem something is for the those people. Okay, yeah, this room here is honestly the biggest snag as far as Brim Tower goes. I'm not even kidding, the rest of it is perfectly doable. Nice try. Honestly, you just typing in the chat will work. The whole reason for that is because Twitch has started freaking... being weird about, how it counts viewers. Like, I don't... Yeah, the redeem is specifically for the channel points, which I need to go through and make a new thing for that, but... Okay, this is where things get a little unfortunate. I just need to lure one of you over. There we go, come on. Come on, I just need you to die. There we go. Okay, come on, I need you to come over here. Oh, no, no, we are not going near you. Oh dear. Come on. Okay. This is honestly the more important lever because I can just juke you around to that other room. Of course, that, if you're gonna be stupid enough to let me get both, that is preferable. Okay, and as long as I don't, like, disconnect here or something crazy like that... Okay, okay. And that's honestly the most difficult section of Broom Tower done. Because I need access to that tower. That side path... Yes, hurrah, indeed. Okay, I just need to get past all of you idiots. A little too far. Alright, quick sword Rachel. What do you mean I took damage? You actually are a bit of a problem if I'm not careful. Uh-oh. Nope. What do you mean that didn't work? I might try burning an effigy at the bonfire just to check. Because I'm going to need either to chain backstabs against this bitch. Or to just completely skip her. Apologies for the profanity, I'm just still annoyed at Alana. Like, Alana is probably the worst boss in this game because you can't beat the Sunken City DLC without her. You could technically skip this one, I think. Why did that not work? I'm just waiting for that buff of yours to run out because when you have to rebuff, come on. Or for you to do that. That works too. I just need you to stand still because I have very low... amazing restraint with the profanities. Okay, thank you. I let one slip here and there. I've just cussed a lot more. Ah, damn. In the past 15 minutes than I have in, like, the past 3 days. What do you mean that wasn't a backstab? This is one of the few invaders I actually am going to bother with. Normally I wouldn't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can be patient. It's not something I particularly excel at, but it is something I am capable of. Okay. My damage really is incredibly low. What have I... Okay, that was almost very bad. I just need you to buff your sword with something else. Because you have specific buffs you swap between. And those are the best points to strike you. Oh, dark this time. Okay. Okay, and this is where I really want alluring skulls. Here. What I get for trusting messages. Yeah, Rachel is a problem for me in melee. Key ahead here, okay. And this is why alluring skulls in this specific spot are incredible. I fully intend to feather away. I can't remember. Is there any before the room? There is not, which is great. Oh, come on. I know alluring skulls work here. Did they patch it or something? What? Okay, they must have patched it or something, because I remember alluring skulls working. Either way, I need to go back to Majula, because I have used so many of those. It's in... or I've used so many life gems, it's kind of crazy. Where is my feather? There is my feather. Yeah, Rachel is honestly only a problem because my damage is so low. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not very good at endurance tests. You need a lot of things done quickly, and I can do it. I might not be the most thorough, but whatever. If you need something... if you need me to spend 2 hours on something, that's when I start to slip in concentration. Okay. Broom Tower. Like, I freely admit that I have concentration issues, which is why I tend to have things on more in the background as opposed to in the foreground. But alright, so I wouldn't exactly call Fume Night free. However, getting to the Fume Night bonfire only has one major obstacle. I can just run past most of this stuff. Cool. This guy is the major obstacle, by the way. Okay, maybe I should stop and kill everything. Huh. The obstacle is, of course, a lever. However, once that lever is pulled, I do essentially have free Fume Night. Where? There you are. My damage output is so low that I don't really think I can feasibly clear out the run back. Like, I can try. Oh, wait, actually, I'm not doing too bad. Okay, so I might be able to clear out all the way up to the giant. And then I just need to juke the giant. I apologize, Ladles. It appears I underestimated you once again. There's two down here. Uh-oh. What? I just have to be careful. Okay, so clearing up to the giant is feasible. I just don't think I'm going to manage the giant. And obviously, if you can manage to chain backstabs, that's even better. However, you definitely don't want to face more than two of those little guys at a time. Numbers will overwhelm. And for some reason, my character has decided that turning around is preferable to actually rolling, so that's fun. Come on. What do you mean that hit me? Unfortunately, there isn't an invisibility spell in this game. I could technically drop down 2 there, but I risk getting into a fight with more than 2. Not good. Uh-oh. Okay. Ah, fuck. Okay. There we go. How many of you are there down there? Because I really don't want to face more than 2 at a time. Doesn't look like there's any on the next floor down. Okay, so there's 2 literally right there. I don't know what happens to the one from earlier. The one that fell, I think it might have died. Okay. Or maybe not. Okay. Will you go after that over there? More testing required. Okay, so you will, but you won't. Come on, come on. I just need you to open the damn door! It really fucking does. The worst part is, if that little guy wasn't there, I would have had it. I would have had it. Like, the levers are legitimately the only problem with Room Tower, really. At least the main section. What do you mean that hit me? Okay, cool. This is already going smoother. Like, this is already going much smoother. We've got one there. I think it's just the one. Like, I'm screwed if one falls to the bottom. That is straight up. What was that? Uh-oh. Come on, come on. There we go. Okay, I took a greedy hit there, but worth it. Fair enough, thank you for the lurk. Come on. What do you mean that my fucking souls got in the way? Okay. There we go. Door open. And now we run. I believe it's left. Or straight. What do you mean you're not running? Why do you run when I want you to roll and roll when you want me to run? When I want you to run? Okay. Just let me through. I don't care. I don't care. I just want the damn bonfire. There we are. And now I can take out these parts of Nadalia. There's a reason I saved these. Obviously, I'll worry about the rest of Broom Tower and the rest of the smelter wedges at another point. My goal for today is just to, at the very least, make some progress against Fume Knight. I'm not gonna go too far over. And honestly, Fume Knight is going to decide how I tackle the rest of this game. Because my damage isn't exactly bad, but I need more. There's specific enemies that are walling me that I just need to be able to do more damage against. Oh my! This is an endurance test, okay. Uh-oh. Nice try. Oh, pff, that was bad on my part. Nice try. Your fast sword is... Oh, okay. The bigger threat. You! I hit dodge. Why did you not dodge? Yep, okay. Yeah, I saw that coming. I'm actually not disappointed in how I did. I knew I was going to die, so I was prepared for that, and I'm not even the slightest bit annoyed. Honestly, that has been the most fair death I've had today. But Okay, so if I'm doing about as much to Fium Knight as I'm doing to Valstat. The summoned Valstat. Huh. Okay. Ow. Alright, I know that 2 hits and I'm dead. Nice try. I can comfortably take 1 hit, but 2, no. Damn it. If I'd started healing a second sooner, I actually would have had it. I would have been able to dodge. Fium Knight is honestly the one boss I have left that I can comfortably say skill issue. I'll give this one more attempt and then I think I'm gonna call it. Because I think I'm actually going to wind up putting this run on hiatus for a bit, and I'll explain why why later. Oh no. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. How did I dodge that? Nice try, I know. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Alright, cool. Now we get to the part that I'm actually okay with. Because his weapon... Oh no. Oh no. Input delay. I was hitting the button and, well, actually it wasn't even input delay, it was the shrieking miss input. My character decided she was going to run instead of roll. But whatever, let's get back to Majula, and then I'm going to explain why this run's going on hiatus for a bit. Alright, so I am going to call it here. And this is a very sudden decision, but I'm thinking about it practically, and for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to put this on hiatus. That's going to be 4 Monday, Tuesday streams where I do something else. I'm going to make it miscellaneous stuff. Sometimes, some of it will be cleaning up some things in other runs, and some of it will be learning some things. Like, I do actually want to attempt some Dark Souls 1 skips. So one of those is going to be just me learning glitches and whatnot type thing. Because I am actually going to need some skips when I do get around to Fireball only. And if I decide to do speedruns, I will probably wind up, at the very least, attempting a route that requires wrong warp. So I should probably look up a bunch of different Dark Souls 1 skips and see about getting some of those down. But aside from that, I'm just gonna do some random cleanup. For example, my casual Elden Ring run, as I mentioned before, doesn't have all of the scatter tree fragments, so I'll probably do that. And I'll probably wind up at least attempting Consort with Magic Glint Blade only again. Go away, ads. I'm talking here. But the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to grind. I might not look underleveled if you look at my regular level, however, everything else is... my damage output is incredibly low. Like, absolutely remarkably low, and I was actually... and the reason I say it's low and that I'm not just bad is because I was specifically told by a few different people to get my leveling... or to level myself up to 40 in everything. For the ladles. I want to see if that does actually make a difference here. If it doesn't, I'm screwed. But, if it doesn't, I'm just gonna have to lock in or just leave the DLCs alone. Well, the DLCs and Dark Lurker alone. However, I cannot in good conscience submit you all to grinding up to essentially double my soul level. That is not an amount of grind. Doubling my soul level, getting up to like level 300 or something like that, is not something I'm going to subject you to. And I don't feel confident that, considering I don't just play, or when I'm grinding for stuff, I don't just grind in my off time. I'm not just going to be playing Dark Souls 2 all hours when I'm off stream. So 2 weeks and then we'll reevaluate. Gotta try and grind Giant Lord to see if I can get up to the recommended 40 in all stats spread. So that's why we're going to be going on hiatus for 2 weeks and then reevaluate so that I have actual time to grind off stream. I won't actually start another run. I will not start another run in the meantime. I'll just do some miscellaneous stuff. Got some stuff in Elden Ring and Dark Souls 1, as I've mentioned. Maybe a chill day of Code Vein. Might clean up some of the things in Silksong. But we'll see. I'm not going to outright plan anything because it really is just going to depend on my mood. But that is, for now, it for Ladle only. I could technically push through and beat Fume Knight. That is well within my skill level. I got to phase 2 on, what was it, 3rd attempt? I could do it. I could push through and beat Fume Knight. But looking at my damage against him, Sir alone is going to be slog. I can't even get to Dark Lurker. And, well, I'm not even confident I could get to Dark Lurker. I shouldn't say I can't. And Ilana is always a wall. After the 2 week, after the reevaluation, and if I manage to get up to the 40 in that time, I'm going to give myself another 3 weeks to beat everything. I'm putting myself on the clock here, just so that I don't wind up getting sick of this game. Because I love Dark Souls 2, but 3 weeks, no progress, that's 6 streams. Yeah, 6 streams with no progress will definitely annoy me. And if I say that I'm just going to push through until I've completed everything, that's not going to be very good for my mental state. I don't think that would really be good for anyone's mental state, actually. Considering my streams are... okay, so 3 times... so that would be 18 hours of no progress if I didn't make anything... if I didn't make anything with... or any progress at all in those 6 streams. So 2 weeks and reevaluate. Whenever we come back, I have 3 weeks to beat everything in the game. And in the time, while I'm grinding up to the level that was recommended to me for this, I will do random things for my Monday, Tuesday streams. Tomorrow I'm playing Lords of the Fallen with Karato. We have a couple different paths we can go along, so I'm not sure which one specifically we will be tackling. Yeah, I don't know which one we'll be tackling. And then Thursday, Friday, it's back to my first run of Dragon's Dogma 2. I am enjoying that game so far, and I look forward to seeing where it takes me. One moment. I will be raiding and running, but Piku is playing Lies of P, so let's go say hi to her. That said, happy time zones, everyone. And I hope you all have an excellent day.